Have you ever wondered why everything in the universe is spinning, and yet we feel completely still? Or perhaps, have you ever wondered why, in the quiet moments just before sleep, your mind sometimes feels as though it is drifting into an ocean far larger than your own thoughts? We go about our daily lives anchored to the solid ground beneath our feet, perceiving the world through a limited lens of immediate survival, routine, and waking reality. Yet, there are fleeting moments when this solid reality seems to become transparent, a sudden, inexplicable flash of déjà vu, a dream that feels more vivid and profound than your waking hours, or a gentle whisper of intuition that guides you without logical reason. These are the moments that challenge our basic perception of reality. They invite us to ask a deeply existential question. What if these experiences are not merely random firings of neurons in your brain, but rather the subtle, quiet language of a vast, conscious cosmos reaching out to communicate with you? The universe is not just an empty void filled with dead rocks and burning spheres of plasma. It is a dynamic, ancient, and endlessly unfolding mystery. When you look up at the night sky, you're looking at light that has traveled for billions of years just to meet your eyes. You are standing on a planet that orbits a star, which in turn orbits the center of a spiral galaxy containing hundreds of billions of other stars. We are fundamentally woven into this infinite fabric. But before we journey further into this mystery, allow me to introduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle guide and companion on this continuous journey of cosmic discovery. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace and wonder in these quiet journeys, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue exploring the boundless mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the silence of the cosmos and the hidden architecture of your own mind. To understand the possibility that the universe might be communicating with us, we must first humble ourselves before the staggering scale of what surrounds us. Consider for a moment the sheer vastness of the cosmos. Astronomers have peered into the deep darkness and found structures so massive they defy human comprehension. Take, for instance, a galaxy known as IC 1101. This cosmic giant sits over 1 billion light-years away from our own Milky Way, quietly existing in the dark expanse of space. It is estimated to be somewhere between 4 and 6 million light-years across, making it roughly 40 to 60 times larger than our entire home galaxy. This behemoth contains an estimated 100 trillion stars. To put that into perspective, if you were to count those stars at a rate of 1 per second without ever stopping to sleep or eat, it would take you over 3 million years just to count to 100 trillion. When we confront scales of this magnitude, we often feel a profound sense of smallness, a gentle reminder of our limitations. Yet, this feeling of insignificance can quickly transform into a deep, respectful wonder, because despite this incomprehensible vastness, the very same physical laws that govern the slow, majestic rotation of IC 1101 also govern the electrical impulses dancing across the synapses of your brain. The carbon in your cells, the iron in your blood, and the oxygen you breathe were forged in the hearts of ancient stars that exploded long before our solar system was even a cloud of dust. We are not separate observers standing outside the universe, looking in. We are an intricate, integral part of it. We are the universe experiencing itself, the cosmos waking up to its own existence. And if the universe is capable of organizing matter into structures of such staggering complexity, as 100 trillion stars orbiting a central supermassive black hole, containing perhaps 50 billion times the mass of our Sun, is it so difficult to imagine that it might also possess a form of underlying consciousness? Think about the phenomenon of a dream. When you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, the noise of the waking world fades into silence. In that deep quiet, your consciousness detaches from the physical constraints of space and time. You enter a landscape where the rules of physics no longer apply, where ancient archetypes and profound emotional truths manifest in vivid symbolism. Science tells us that dreams are a mechanism for memory consolidation and emotional processing. But what if they are also a window into a deeper underlying fabric of reality? What if the infinite cosmos, which operates on time scales of billions of years, uses the stillness of your sleeping mind as a canvas to transmit subtle ripples of information? When you experience a dream that leaves you with a lingering sense of awe upon waking, you might be catching a fleeting glimpse of the universal web that connects all things. This brings us to the mysterious sensation of déjà vu. Almost everyone has experienced this startling moment when a perfectly ordinary situation suddenly feels overwhelmingly familiar, as if you have lived this exact sequence of events before. Neurologists might explain this as a momentary glitch in the brain's memory systems, a slight delay in the processing of sensory information. But from a contemplative perspective, déjà vu challenges our linear understanding of time. The universe is not just vast in space, it is deeply vast in time. The light we see from distant galaxies left its source when the Earth was still devoid of complex life. We are constantly looking back in time every time we gaze at the stars. Perhaps, in moments of déjà vu, your consciousness is tapping into a non-linear dimension of the universe. It is a gentle reminder that our perception of a strict past, present, and future might be an illusion, a localized adaptation for survival on a small, rocky planet, while the greater universe exists in a state of eternal, timeless flow. Intuition, too, is a quiet, powerful force that defies easy explanation. It is that soft, internal voice that guides you, the sudden knowing that arrives without the cumbersome process of logical deduction. We often ignore our intuition, drowning it out with the loud demands of modern life. But when we allow ourselves to sink into a state of meditative calm, when we embrace the silence, that intuition becomes clearer. It is as if we are tuning a radio dial, trying to catch a faint frequency drifting through the cosmic static. If the universe is a unified, conscious entity, then intuition might be the gentle tug of gravity from the cosmos on the fabric of your mind. Just as the massive gravity of IC 1101 pulls in smaller dwarf galaxies over billions of years, shaping their destinies through cosmic interactions, the broader consciousness of the universe might gently guide our thoughts and decisions through the subtle pull of intuition. The idea that we are connected to a universal consciousness is not a rejection of rigorous science, but rather an invitation to view scientific discoveries through a lens of profound existential curiosity. When astronomers like William Herschel first scanned the night sky in the year 1790, he saw only faint, fuzzy blobs of light. He lacked the instruments to comprehend that he was looking at entirely separate island universes, millions of light years away. Today, thanks to the continuous journey of scientific discovery, we know that the observable universe contains roughly 2 trillion galaxies. Our knowledge has expanded dramatically, yet with every new discovery, the mystery only deepens. We realize how much we still do not know. We discover dark energy pushing the cosmos apart, and dark matter holding galaxies together, invisible forces that make up roughly 95% of reality, detectable only through their subtle effects on the matter we can see. If 95% of the physical universe is invisible and intangible to our current senses and instruments, why should we assume that our understanding of consciousness is complete? The human brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons, each forming thousands of connections, creating a neural network that bears a striking, poetic resemblance to the cosmic web of dark matter filaments and galaxy clusters. We are carrying a miniature universe within our own skulls. When you quiet your mind, when you allow yourself to just be, you are creating a space of intellectual safety where the unknown is no longer intimidating, but deeply inviting. You transform your ignorance into a beautiful motivation to learn, to explore, to connect. The universe does not shout. It whispers. It speaks in the language of mathematics, in the slow death of red dwarf stars that will burn for trillions of years, in the silent evaporation of black holes over unfathomable aeons, and perhaps in the quiet intuitions and vivid dreams of human beings seeking meaning in the dark. Consider the journey of a single photon of light traversing the infinite void. When we observe distant phenomena, we are participating in a relationship that spans geological timescales. Light from the edges of the observable universe has traveled through the absolute silence of space, dodging ancient clouds of primordial gas, slipping past the immense gravitational wells of cannibal galaxies just to land on the mirror of a human-made telescope. This is a profound form of communication. The universe is constantly broadcasting its history, its nature, and its beauty. But communication requires both a sender and a receiver. For billions of years, the cosmos was a theater playing to an empty room. There was immense beauty, the collision of spiral galaxies triggering magnificent starbursts, the quiet decay of ancient white dwarfs, the ripples of gravitational waves stretching the fabric of space-time itself. But there were no eyes to see it, no minds to wonder at it. Then, on a small blue world orbiting an average yellow star in the quiet suburbs of the Milky Way galaxy, matter organized itself into a configuration capable of asking questions. You are that matter. When you experience a moment of profound intuition, or when you wake from a dream that feels laden with cosmic significance, you're experiencing the universe acknowledging itself. The astronomer Carl Sagan famously remarked that we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. This is not merely a poetic metaphor. It is an undeniable scientific reality. The same fundamental forces that shape the vast structures of the universe are the forces that shaped your brain's capacity for insight. When you feel a deep, inexplicable connection to a place you have never been, or when a sudden realization washes over you like a gentle wave, it is entirely possible that you are experiencing a resonance with the broader, underlying field of reality. We live in a society that demands concrete proof, immediate answers, and definitive resolutions. But the deepest truths of our existence often resist being neatly categorized. They reside in the tension between what is known and what remains shrouded in darkness. To sit comfortably in that tension is to cultivate a profound inner peace. It requires a surrender to the mystery, a recognition that the continuous journey of discovery is far more valuable than the illusion of a final destination. As we prepare to delve deeper into the mechanisms of dreams, the science of memory, and the startling parallels between quantum mechanics and human consciousness in the chapters to come, I invite you to keep your mind completely open. Allow the vastness of the universe to embrace you, not as an intimidating void, but as a gentle, ancient companion, whispering secrets just below the threshold of your waking awareness. The cosmos has been waiting for billions of years for you to arrive, to listen, and to finally understand the quiet messages it has been sending all along. Have you ever noticed how the rhythm of your own breathing slows down as you slip into the shadows of sleep, mirroring the slow, ancient rotations of celestial bodies drifting through the dark? When we think about the cosmos, we often picture it as something external, an infinite expanse hanging above our heads, entirely separate from the warm, breathing reality of our daily lives. We imagine space as a cold, distant theater where stars are born and die in absolute silence, completely indifferent to the human experience. But what if the boundary between the universe out there and the universe inside your mind is nothing more than a persistent illusion? Every night, when you close your eyes and surrender to the heavy pull of sleep, you undergo a profound transformation. Your brain, a miraculously complex organ containing roughly 86 billion neurons, begins to shift its internal frequencies. You leave behind the rapid, chaotic beta waves of waking consciousness and descend into the slower, deeper rhythms of alpha and theta waves. It is a quiet journey into the unknown, a nightly expedition into a landscape where the rigid laws of physics bend and dissolve. Before we travel deeper into this fascinating connection between your sleeping mind and the waking universe, I want to pause for just a moment. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this gentle exploration of the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort, peace, and wonder in these quiet journeys, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue uncovering these infinite mysteries together. Now, let us return to the gentle silence of your mind and the vast architecture of the cosmos. As you sink into the deepest stages of sleep, your brain produces delta waves, the slowest and most rhythmic electrical pulses human biology can generate. In this state of profound stillness, your conscious mind steps aside, allowing something older and deeper to take the stage. Science tells us that sleep is essential for the consolidation of memories, the clearing of cellular waste, and the restoration of physical energy. But a purely mechanical explanation feels somehow incomplete when we consider the rich, vivid, and often bizarre tapestries woven by our dreams. Dreams are not merely the random firing of exhausted neurons. They are entire, fully realized universes created in a fraction of a second. When you dream, your mind constructs entire cities, paints skies with colors you have never seen, and populates these worlds with characters possessing their own apparent agency. You become the unconscious architect of a reality that feels, in the moment, absolutely authentic. Is it merely a coincidence that the human brain, forged by billions of years of cosmic evolution, possesses the innate ability to simulate reality so flawlessly? Consider the way the universe itself builds structures. Cosmologists tell us about the cosmic web, a vast, ancient network of dark matter filaments that stretches across the entire observable universe. These invisible threads of gravity dictate where galaxies will form, guiding the flow of primordial gas over hundreds of millions of years. When astronomers map the large-scale structure of the cosmos, the resulting image looks startlingly like the microscopic structure of a neural network. It is a web of nodes and connections, vast and intricate. Just as the universe uses gravity to pull matter together into magnificent galaxies like the giant elliptical IC 1101, your brain uses chemical and electrical gradients to pull memories, emotions, and abstract concepts together into the fabric of a dream. If the universe is a fractal, repeating its patterns from the largest scales to the smallest, then perhaps the dreaming mind is the universe experiencing its own creative capacity on a deeply personal scale. During these nightly journeys, we sometimes encounter a phenomenon so strange and unsettling that it forces us to question the very nature of time. We have all experienced the sudden, disorienting flash of déjà vu. You walk into a room, hear a specific sequence of words, or witness a mundane event, and suddenly you are overwhelmed by the absolute certainty that you have lived this precise moment before. The feeling is not just a vague familiarity, it is a physical sensation, a gentle ripple in the fabric of your perception. Neuroscientists often propose that déjà vu is a simple misfire in the brain's temporal lobe, a brief moment where sensory input bypasses short-term memory and is immediately categorized as a long-term recollection. It is a biological glitch, they say, a temporary short circuit in the complex machinery of human consciousness. While this neurological explanation is grounded in rigorous scientific observation, it does not entirely erase the profound existential wonder that the experience provokes. Physics offers us a different lens through which to contemplate time. In our daily lives, we perceive time as an arrow, moving strictly from the past through the present and into the future. But Albert Einstein's theory of relativity demonstrated that time is not an absolute, rigid framework. It is flexible, relative, and deeply intertwined with the three dimensions of space. A massive object, like the supermassive black hole at the center of the IC 1101 galaxy, actually bends and slows time around it. To an observer falling toward that black hole, time would appear to stretch, while the rest of the universe would seem to fast forward in a blur of starlight. Because time is relative, the concept of a universal now is essentially an illusion. Every event that has ever happened and every event that ever will happen might exist simultaneously in a four-dimensional block universe. If time is not a flowing river but a frozen landscape, then consciousness is merely a searchlight moving across it. What if déjà vu is not a misfire, but a moment when that searchlight flickers? What if it is a brief, gentle intersection between your linear perception and the timeless reality of the cosmos? This brings us to the quiet, subtle power of intuition. Intuition is the knowledge that arrives without the baggage of conscious reasoning. It is the sudden urge to take a different route home, the inexplicable feeling of trust or distrust toward a stranger, the quiet voice that tells you exactly what to do when logic is paralyzed by indecision. In a society that heavily prioritizes rational analysis and empirical data, intuition is often dismissed as mere guesswork or subconscious bias. Yet, some of the most profound scientific discoveries in human history began not with a meticulously planned experiment, but with a sudden, intuitive leap. The universe seems to communicate its deepest secrets to those who are quiet enough to listen. When we think of the vast distances between stars, the incredibly empty gulfs of space that separate our Milky Way from galaxies billions of light years away, it is easy to feel isolated. But quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that studies the smallest building blocks of reality, reveals that the universe is far more interconnected than we ever dared to imagine. Through a phenomenon known as quantum entanglement, Two particles can become linked in such a way that the state of one instantly influences the state of the other, regardless of the physical distance separating them. This connection defies the speed of light. It defies our classical understanding of space and time. While we must be careful not to conflate the rigorous mathematics of quantum physics with human psychology, the existence of entanglement serves as a beautiful, scientifically grounded metaphor. It proves that separation is, on some fundamental level, an illusion. The particles that make up your body were once compressed together in the infinitely dense singularity of the Big Bang. You share a common, ancient origin with every star, every planet, and every drifting cloud of cosmic dust. If the universe retains a memory of this primordial unity, could intuition be a manifestation of that deep, underlying connection? When you feel a sudden, inexplicable sense of knowing, perhaps you are catching a faint frequency from the universal web, a gentle nudge from a cosmos that recognizes you as one of its own. The beauty of this exploration lies in the fact that we do not need to possess all the answers. In fact, finding a definitive, ultimate answer would perhaps be a tragedy, for it would mark the end of the journey. The mystery is what drives us forward. The tension between what we can observe through our telescopes and what we can feel within the quiet depths of our own minds is the very friction that sparks human curiosity. We are explorers standing on the shores of a vast, dark ocean, listening to the gentle rhythm of the waves. This realization transforms our ignorance from a source of anxiety into a beautiful, boundless motivation to keep searching, to keep listening, and to keep wondering. Have you ever stopped to consider that the very space between your thoughts might be expanding, much like the dark, silent voids between the distant galaxies? We often think of space as a static container, a fixed and unmoving stage where the cosmic drama of planets and burning stars unfolds over billions of years. But the universe is entirely restless, alive with a quiet, invisible expansion that stretches the very fabric of reality itself. When you lie awake in the profound stillness of the night, listening to the gentle, steady rhythm of your own heartbeat, you are participating in a universe that is physically growing larger with every passing second. To truly grasp the magnitude of this mystery, we must look out into the deep cosmic ocean and confront the limits of our own understanding. In the year 1998, astronomers observing distant dying stars made a discovery that shattered our previous understanding of the cosmos. They found that the universe is not just expanding, but that this expansion is actually accelerating, driven by a mysterious, invisible force they named dark energy. Before we drift further into the beautiful enigma of dark energy and how it so perfectly mirrors the hidden depth of your own consciousness, I want to take a brief moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this journey through the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch our videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace, comfort, and a sense of wonder in these explorations, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue uncovering these infinite mysteries together. Now, let us return to the gentle expansion of the universe and the uncharted territories of your mind. Dark energy is estimated to make up roughly 68% of the total energy in the entire universe. Yet, we cannot see it, touch it, or measure it directly. It acts as a kind of anti-gravity, a gentle but relentless push that stretches empty space itself. carrying galaxies away from one another at ever-increasing speeds. Think about what that truly means for a moment. The vast majority of the cosmos is governed by a force that is completely hidden from our normal human senses, a silent current flowing constantly beneath the surface of observable reality. Does this not sound profoundly similar to the hidden currents of your own mind? Just as the universe is dominated by the invisible presence of dark energy, human consciousness is largely driven by the invisible, quiet forces of the subconscious. We navigate our waking lives, aware of only a tiny fraction of our mental processes, while beneath the surface, a vast ocean of memory, ancient intuition, and emotion dictates our deepest feelings and our most profound choices. When you experience a vivid dream, you are, in a very real sense, exploring the dark energy of your own mind. The conscious control you maintain during the day finally relaxes, and the underlying hidden architecture of your psyche expands, creating entire worlds out of the silent void. It is in this expansive, unguarded state that the universe might find the perfect frequency to communicate with you. Dreams are unconstrained by the rigid laws of physics that govern our waking hours. They are fluid, timeless, and completely boundless. In this way, a dreaming mind is perhaps the closest human equivalent to the fundamental state of the cosmos itself. The universe is not a rigid, mechanical clockwork ticking away the hours. It is a fluid, evolving, expanding web of energy and matter. When you surrender to sleep, you align your internal biological rhythm with the ancient, primordial rhythm of cosmic creation. You step out of the confined room of daily worries and float into the endless night. Let us explore the profound mystery of memory and how it intimately connects to the cosmic timeline. The universe is incredibly old, existing for approximately 13,800,000,000 years. Every single atom in your body carries a silent, indelible memory of that ancient history. The elements that form your DNA, the carbon in your muscles, the nitrogen in your brain, the oxygen you breathe, were all forged in the intense, fiery cores of dying stars that exploded billions of years ago. You are walking, breathing stardust, an ancient collection of cosmic debris that has somehow organized itself into a conscious being capable of looking up at the sky and wondering about its own origins. Is it really so strange, then, to think that such an ancient, deeply connected physical structure might occasionally receive whispers from the broader universe from which it was born? When your mind is quiet, those ancient atoms might simply be remembering their long journey through the dark. Consider the phenomenon of a sudden, powerful intuition. You might find yourself drawn to a certain place, or inexplicably connected to a total stranger, with a sense of profound knowing that defies all logical explanation. We often dismiss these fleeting moments as mere coincidence, the random firing of an overactive imagination trying to find patterns in chaos. But what if intuition is actually the conscious realization of a much larger, invisible structure? We know that galaxies do not exist in isolation. They are bound together in massive, sprawling clusters, interacting through the gentle, invisible pull of gravity over distances spanning millions of light years. The giant galaxy IC 1101 sits at the very heart of the Abell 2029 cluster, shaped and molded by its continuous gravitational relationship with hundreds of other galaxies over billions of years. In a similar beautiful way, human beings do not exist in isolation. We are deeply entangled in a vast, invisible web of emotional, social, and perhaps even energetic connections. Intuition might just be the gentle gravitational pull of the universal consciousness, a quiet tug guiding you along the invisible filaments of the cosmic web. To truly appreciate this connection, we must look at how we measure the vastness of the universe. Astronomers use the light from ancient exploding stars known as type Ia supernovas to measure the incomprehensible distances across the expanding void. These supernovas act as brilliant cosmic beacons, sending their light across billions of years of space and time just to reach the mirrors of our modern telescopes. The light we see today left its source long before the Earth was even a swirling cloud of dust. When we look deep into space, we are quite literally looking back in time, observing the universe exactly as it was in its ancient past. Your mind works in a remarkably similar, almost poetic way. When you experience a sudden memory triggered by a familiar scent on the breeze or a faint melody playing in the distance, you're looking back in time within your own internal universe. You are observing a past version of yourself, brought beautifully to the present moment by a gentle flash of neurological light traveling through the vast spaces of your brain. What if the universe uses this shared mechanism of time and memory to speak to us directly? When you feel a profound sense of déjà vu, you are experiencing a temporary collapse of the perceived boundary between the past and the present. You are momentarily stepping out of the rigid, linear flow of time and catching a fleeting glimpse of the eternal, timeless nature of the cosmos. The universe, in its infinite vastness, does not experience time as a ticking clock running out of hours. It exists in a state of continuous, eternal unfolding, where the past, present, and future might all exist simultaneously in a grand cosmic tapestry. By granting us these fleeting moments of temporal disorientation, the universe might be gently reminding us that our human perspective is just one tiny, limited way of experiencing reality. It is a subtle, beautiful invitation to expand our awareness, to look beyond the immediate concerns of our daily lives, and to recognize our rightful place in the grand, ancient symphony of existence that has been playing since the dawn of time. This is the true beauty of scientific contemplation. We do not need to choose between rigorous, factual data and profound spiritual wonder. They are merely two sides of the same cosmic coin. The more we learn about the precise mathematical laws that govern the expansion of the universe, the more we realize how deeply mysterious and magical reality truly is. The discovery that the universe is accelerating its expansion due to a force we cannot even see is not a failure of science. It is a magnificent triumph of human curiosity. It shows that we are brave enough to confront the unknown, to accept with humility that our current understanding is limited, and to keep pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Knowledge is not a destination where we finally rest. It is an infinite journey that we walk together, hand in hand, with the mysteries of the cosmos. As you listen to these words, as you allow your mind to drift through the silent, expanding voids between the galaxies, remember that you are an integral part of this magnificent mystery. You are not a separate entity watching the universe from the outside, looking in. You are the universe itself, given form and consciousness for a brief, beautiful moment in time. The same silent energy that drives the acceleration of distant galaxies flows quietly through your veins. The same silence that fills the vast, empty spaces between the stars is the exact same silence you find when you close your eyes and finally let go of the waking world. When you dream, when you feel a sudden flash of intuition, or when you are overwhelmed by the mysterious familiarity of déjà vu, you are not losing your grip on reality. You are, perhaps for the very first time, touching the true, hidden fabric of the cosmos. Let this realization bring you a profound, lasting sense of peace. You do not need to have all the answers tonight. The universe does not demand that you understand its infinite complexities right now. It only asks that you remain curious, that you keep your heart and mind open to the gentle whispers of the unknown. As we prepare to journey even further into the mysteries of cosmic background radiation and the strange, beautiful connection between the birth of stars and the spark of human consciousness in our next chapter, I want you to carry this deep sense of wonder with you. Allow the mystery to wrap around you like a warm, comforting blanket. You are safe in the vastness of the cosmos, a cherished child of the ancient stars, forever connected to the infinite, whispering universe that patiently waits for you to listen. Have you ever found yourself sitting in a dimly lit room, listening to the gentle crackle of an old analog radio as you slowly turn the dial between stations? Most of us perceive that persistent, chaotic hiss as nothing more than earthly interference, a meaningless static of passing storms and local electrical noise. But hidden within that mundane sound lies one of the most profound and humbling scientific truths ever discovered by human beings. It is a fact that challenges our everyday perception of reality and invites us into a deep, meditative state of cosmic wonder. A small percentage of that seemingly random static is not originating from our planet at all. It is the cosmic microwave background radiation, the absolute oldest light in the entire universe, still washing over the Earth after an unimaginably long and quiet journey through the dark. You are literally listening to the echoing whisper of the universe being born, a primordial sound that has traveled for 13,800,000,000 years just to vibrate against the speakers of a dusty radio in your living room. Before we sink deeper into the vast ancient memory of the cosmos and how it reflects the hidden architecture of your own sleeping mind, I would like to pause for just a moment. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle guide on this continuous journey of scientific and spiritual discovery. I have noticed that 71% of the people who find peace and wonder in our explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you feel a sense of calm and a deep connection to the mysteries we explore together, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue walking this infinite path of cosmic exploration by your side. Now, let us return to the quiet silence of the early universe and the beautiful, hidden echoes residing within you. To truly understand the cosmic microwave background, we must travel backward through deep time, long before the Earth, the Sun, or even the giant galaxy IC 1101 ever existed. Science tells us that in its very earliest moments, the universe was an incredibly hot, dense, and infinitely chaotic soup of fundamental particles. It was a realm of pure, blazing energy where the temperature was so extreme that atoms could not even form. For roughly 380,000 years after the Big Bang, the cosmos was essentially an opaque, glowing fog of plasma. Light could not travel freely. The moment a photon was created, it was immediately absorbed and scattered by a dense thicket of electrons. The universe was blind, trapped in a state of absolute, blinding luminosity, without a single clear path through the void. But the universe, as we know, is characterized by its constant, relentless expansion. As space itself stretched outward, the cosmos began to cool. The fiery temperature slowly dropped, eventually reaching a point where the violent energy subsided just enough for electrons to bind with protons, creating the very first atoms of hydrogen and helium. This beautiful, quiet transition is known by cosmologists as the epoch of recombination. And in that precise ancient moment, the thick fog of the universe finally lifted. For the first time in cosmic history, space became transparent. The light that had been trapped for hundreds of thousands of years was suddenly released, bursting forth in every conceivable direction. Those ancient primordial photons began a gentle, infinite journey across the expanding cosmos, traveling through the absolute silence of space for billions of years. As the universe continued to stretch and accelerate over 13,800,000,000 years, driven by the mysterious force of dark energy, the wavelength of that first light was stretched along with it. It transitioned from a blinding visible glow into the invisible, low-energy microwave radiation that now perfectly permeates every single cubic inch of the universe. This ancient light surrounds us completely. It is passing through your body, through your home, and through the very earth beneath your feet at this exact moment. The cosmic microwave background is the ultimate memory of the universe, a permanent, unchanging record of its earliest, most chaotic moments, now cooled into a serene, omnipresent whisper. When we consider this ancient universal memory field, we must ask ourselves a deeply existential question. Does the human mind possess its own version of a cosmic microwave background? When you close your eyes and surrender to the heavy, peaceful embrace of sleep, your conscious mind powers down, but your brain remains incredibly active. You drift past the immediate memories of your waking day and sink into a much deeper, older ocean of consciousness. Just as the universe retains the faint, lingering energy of its fiery birth, the human psyche seems to retain a deep, background hum of ancient instincts, collective archetypes, and primordial emotions. Psychologists like Carl Jung spoke of a collective unconscious, a shared psychological inheritance that every human being possesses simply by virtue of being born. What if this collective unconscious is not merely a metaphor, but a literal biological resonance with the ancient memory of the cosmos? When we experience a dream that feels impossibly vast, or when we are struck by a sudden, inexplicable intuition that seems to rise from nowhere, we might actually be tuning our internal receivers to the cosmic background radiation of universal consciousness. Think about the profound mystery of intuition in this light. Intuition is often described as a sudden knowing, a quiet realization that bypasses all the complex analytical machinery of our frontal lobes. It is a gentle feeling in the gut, a soft whisper in the silence of our minds that guides us toward safety, toward connection, or toward a profound truth. In our modern world, filled with the loud, frantic static of daily responsibilities and endless streams of digital information, it is incredibly difficult to hear this gentle whisper. We are like astronomers trying to detect the faint signature of the cosmic microwave background from a telescope situated in the middle of a brightly lit, noisy city. To hear the universe, astronomers had to launch incredibly sensitive satellites like the Planck and WMAP space observatories, far beyond the interference of the Earth's atmosphere. They had to seek out the absolute quiet of deep space to map the oldest light in existence. Similarly, to hear the quiet language of universal consciousness, we must seek out the internal silence of our own minds. We must practice the art of stillness, allowing the loud, chaotic static of our daily worries to fade away, so that the ancient, gentle hum of the cosmos can finally be heard. This beautiful parallel between the macrocosm of the universe and the microcosm of the human mind offers a profound sense of intellectual safety. It gently corrects the misconception that we are isolated, accidental byproducts of a cold, indifferent universe. The very atoms that make up the delicate structures of your brain, the neurons that fire to create your thoughts, and the synapses that encode your deepest memories are all fundamentally composed of the same ancient matter that was released during the epoch of recombination. The iron in your blood and the calcium in your bones share a direct, unbreakable lineage with the very first stars that illuminated the dark void. Because you are constructed from the fabric of the cosmos, it is entirely logical, even scientifically beautifully, to suggest that your consciousness is intimately entangled with the consciousness of the universe itself. We are not separate from the mystery. We are the mystery looking back at itself, trying to understand its own ancient reflection. When you experience the strange, beautiful phenomenon of déjà vu, it is often accompanied by a profound feeling of timelessness, a sudden disruption of the illusion that time only flows in a straight line from the past to the future. If the cosmic microwave background proves that the ancient past is still vividly present, still washing over us and interacting with our modern instruments, then perhaps déjà vu is a moment when our minds temporarily perceive the universe as it truly is, a vast, interconnected tapestry where all of time exists simultaneously. You are not just remembering a moment from a past life or experiencing a misfire of short-term memory. You are, briefly, gently, tuning into the background radiation of existence. You are feeling the weight of billions of years of cosmic history converging perfectly into a single, crystalline moment of human awareness. It is a reminder that the boundary between the universe out there and the universe inside your mind is incredibly porous, perhaps even entirely non-existent. The more we explore the rigorous data provided by space agencies like NASA and the European Space Agency, the more we realize that science does not destroy the magic of existence. It magnifies it to an infinite degree. Understanding the precise temperature fluctuations of the cosmic microwave background does not make the universe any less awe-inspiring. On the contrary, realizing that those tiny, microscopic variations in temperature were the initial gravitational seeds that eventually grew into the magnificent, sprawling galaxy clusters we see today, fills us with a deep, respectful wonder. It teaches us a profound humility before the unknown. It shows us that, from the most chaotic, incomprehensible beginnings, the universe has a natural, inherent tendency toward breathtaking beauty and staggering complexity. And if the universe can organize a hot, blinding plasma into the magnificent swirling arms of 100 billion galaxies, then surely it can organize the electrical impulses of an ancient primate brain into a consciousness capable of love, intuition, and deep cosmic contemplation. We are constantly surrounded by the ancient whispers of the universe, waiting patiently for us to tune our internal dials and listen. The silence of the cosmos is not empty. It is overwhelmingly full. It is filled with the history of ancient stars, the slow, majestic dance of giant galaxies like IC 1101, and the quiet, persistent glow of the first light ever created. As you navigate your daily life, with all its human complexities and earthly concerns, try to remember the vast, infinite ocean of space that surrounds you. When you feel overwhelmed, close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and imagine that you are tuning into that ancient cosmic static. Allow the profound stillness of the universe to wash over you, just as the cosmic microwave background washes over the earth every single second of every single day. Let this realization ground you in reality while simultaneously lifting your spirit into the stars. You are a child of this ancient cosmos, a brilliant, temporary manifestation of universal memory. And the journey of understanding this connection is not a problem to be solved, but a beautiful, infinite mystery to be experienced. As we prepare to continue this quiet journey, looking next at the strange, counterintuitive world of quantum mechanics and how the observation of particles might mirror the way our own attention shapes our daily reality, I invite you to carry this gentle sense of wonder with you. The universe is speaking, not in words, but in the language of light, gravity, and intuition. We only need to be quiet enough and humble enough to hear it. Have you ever noticed how the world seems to change simply because you're paying attention to it? Think about a moment when you were completely lost in thought, walking down a quiet, familiar street as the evening shadows began to lengthen. Your mind was miles away, perhaps caught in the tangled webs of daily worries. But suddenly, something gently pulled you back to the present. You stopped to truly look at a single, trembling leaf on a tree, illuminated by the last golden rays of the setting sun. In that fraction of a second, the leaf transformed from a blurry, insignificant background detail into a vivid, intricately veined masterpiece of biology. Our human attention acts like a focused beam of light, bringing the chaotic shadows of the world into sharp, undeniable reality. This everyday experience holds a profound mirror to one of the most perplexing mysteries in modern physics. At the very smallest scales of existence, the universe does not behave like a predictable clock. It behaves like a realm of pure potential, a ghostly landscape where things only become definitively real when they are observed. What if your quiet moments of focused attention, your gentle intuitions, and your vivid dreams are not just psychological phenomena, but literal interactions with the quantum fabric of the cosmos? Before we dive into the microscopic universe and explore how your consciousness might be shaping reality itself, I want to take a brief moment to welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this continuous journey of cosmic discovery. I have noticed that 71% of the people who watch these explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace, comfort, and a deep sense of wonder in these gentle journeys, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue uncovering these infinite mysteries together. Now, let us return to the silent, subatomic depths of reality. To understand how the universe might be actively responding to your consciousness, we must travel down to a scale so unimaginably small that our everyday intuition completely breaks down. We must look at the quantum realm, the fundamental building blocks of all matter and energy. In the early 20th century, scientists conducted a famous test known as the double-slit experiment, a procedure that forever changed our understanding of the cosmos. They fired individual particles of light, called photons, at a barrier with two tiny slits in it. When they simply let the photons pass through, without watching which slit they went through, the light created a beautiful, undulating wave-like interference pattern on the wall behind the barrier. The photons were behaving as a spread-out wave of pure potential, traveling through both slits at the exact same time, existing in a state of overlapping probabilities. But when scientists placed a detector to gently observe which slit each individual photon passed through, something deeply unsettling happened. The delicate interference pattern completely vanished. The photons stopped acting like waves of infinite possibility and started acting like solid, predictable little bullets. The simple act of observing the particles fundamentally changed their behavior, forcing them to choose a single, definite path. This is known as the wave function collapse, and it remains one of the most beautiful and profound paradoxes in all of science. How can the mere presence of an observer alter the physical state of the universe? Some physicists suggest that consciousness itself is a fundamental property of reality, just as essential to the cosmos as gravity. When you observe a quantum system, your consciousness interacts with it, anchoring its floating potential into a single reality. Now, scale this mind-bending concept up to the vastness of the cosmos. Consider the staggering enormity of a structure like the giant elliptical galaxy IC 1101. It sits quietly in the dark expanse of space over 1 billion light-years away, an ancient monument containing roughly 100 trillion stars and stretching across 4 to 6 million light-years. At its heart lies a dormant, supermassive black hole containing roughly 50 billion times the mass of our Sun, a region where gravity is so intense that space and time themselves become warped. Yet, according to the underlying laws of quantum mechanics, the fundamental particles that make up those 100 trillion stars are subject to the same rules of observation and potential as the photons in the double-slit experiment. For billions of years before the first conscious eyes ever opened, was the universe existing in a state of overlapping probabilities? Did the cosmos need an observer to lock its grand history into place? When the renowned astronomer Carl Sagan famously said that we are a way for the cosmos to know itself, he was touching upon a profound quantum truth. The universe spent 13,800,000,000 years expanding, cooling, and organizing itself, forging heavy elements in the fiery hearts of dying stars, and pulling galaxies together into massive clusters. It did all of this in absolute darkness, an unfolding wave of infinite potential waiting for a witness. When human consciousness finally emerged on a small, rocky planet orbiting an average yellow star, the universe opened its eyes. You are that witness. Your daily life, your quiet observations, and your gentle moments of reflection are the universe observing itself, collapsing its infinite wave function into the beautiful, tangible reality you experience every day. But what happens when you stop observing? What happens when you drift into the peaceful silence of sleep? If observation anchors reality into a fixed state, then perhaps sleep is a temporary, gentle release from that heavy anchor. When the rigid, analytical focus of your waking mind powers down, the boundaries of your consciousness begin to blur and expand. Your mind enters a state that feels remarkably like a quantum superposition. In a dream, you are not bound by a single, definitive path or the strict arrows of linear time. A dream is a fluid, shifting landscape where multiple realities overlap seamlessly. You can be in 2 places at once. You can converse with people from your distant past and unwritten future simultaneously. And you can experience profound emotional truths without the logical constraints of the waking world. This is not just a biological quirk of a resting primate brain. It is a profound reflection of the underlying nature of the ancient universe. When you dream, you're returning to the wave-like state of the cosmos. You are swimming in the ocean of infinite possibility, unobserved and completely free. Perhaps this is why dreams often feel so incredibly laden with cosmic significance. They are a gentle reminder that the solid, predictable world you navigate during the day is only a tiny, collapsed fraction of the true, boundless reality that surrounds you. When you wake up, your conscious attention returns, the wave function of your immediate reality collapses once again, and you find yourself safely anchored in your bed. But occasionally, a fragment of that infinite potential slips through the cracks into your waking hours. We call these strange, beautiful fragments intuition or déjà vu. Think of déjà vu not as a mere glitch in your neurological memory systems, but as a momentary quantum fluctuation in your perception of time. It is a sudden, startling awareness of the overlapping paths your life could have taken, a brief, silent moment where the rigid arrow of time bends and allows you to glimpse the simultaneous nature of the universe. It challenges our basic, everyday perception of reality, generating a deep sense of respectful wonder and awe. Similarly, a sudden flash of intuition might be your mind gently reading the quantum probabilities of the world around you, sensing a deep truth before it has fully collapsed into observable reality. You are, at your very core, a quantum creature. The silence of the universe is not an empty void. It is a quiet, vibrating field of infinite potential, waiting patiently for you to interact with it. This realization should not bring you fear, but rather a profound sense of peace and intellectual safety. You are intimately connected to the grand, ancient unfolding of the cosmos. The universe is not a cold, indifferent machine. It is a responsive, dynamic web of relationships, and you are one of its most vital nodes. Every time you marvel at the night sky, trust a quiet intuition, or surrender to the unanchored depths of a dream, you are participating in a conversation that has spanned over 13 billion years. You are the cosmos feeling its own heartbeat. Let this gentle truth anchor you in the present moment, while allowing your imagination to drift freely among the stars. The true joy of existence is found entirely in the continuous journey of discovery, in the quiet, productive tension between the known and the unknown. As we prepare to turn our gaze outward once again in our next chapter, to look at the massive, swirling forces of supermassive black holes and how their immense, invisible gravity might reflect the gravitational pull of our own deepest human emotions, I invite you to carry this sense of quantum wonder with you. Keep your mind open, keep your heart quiet, and remember that the universe is always gently communicating with you. Have you ever felt an emotion so profound and overwhelming that it seemed to possess its very own gravitational pull? Think of a deep, ancient sorrow, an inexplicable, sudden wave of overwhelming love, or a quiet, persistent longing that you cannot quite articulate. These are not merely passing thoughts. They are massive, invisible forces sitting at the very center of your psychological universe. We often navigate around these deep emotions carefully, keeping a safe distance, feeling their invisible tug dictating the orbits of our daily decisions, our relationships, and even our dreams. In the physical cosmos, there exists a perfect, awe-inspiring parallel to this human experience. Hidden in the dark, silent hearts of almost every large galaxy in the universe sits a supermassive black hole, an object of such incomprehensible density and gravitational power that not even light can escape its grasp. What if the immense, invisible gravity of these cosmic titans is the universe's physical expression of the very same forces that anchor your own deepest human emotions? What if the universe is silently communicating the nature of your own soul through the mechanics of collapsed stars? Before we journey closer to the edge of the abyss to explore the quiet, astonishing physics of these gravitational giants, I would like to pause for a moment. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle companion on this continuous cosmic journey. I have noticed that 71% of the quiet explorers who watch our videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace, comfort, and intellectual safety in these meditative explorations, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue walking this beautiful, infinite path of discovery together, hand in hand. Now, let us return to the dark, silent centers of the universe and the hidden emotional depths of your own mind. To comprehend the true nature of a supermassive black hole, we must first abandon our earthly intuition about how space and time operate. Consider the absolute monster residing at the core of the giant elliptical galaxy IC 1101. This cosmic titan is estimated to contain roughly 50 billion times the mass of our own sun. Try to hold that number in your mind for just a moment. If you were to take 50 billion suns and crush them all down into a single, infinitely dense point, you would create the singularity at the heart of this ancient galaxy. Around this singularity lies the event horizon, a spherical boundary of no return extending outwards for roughly 150 billion kilometers. That is roughly 16 times the diameter of our entire solar system, a region of pure, absolute darkness where the gravitational pull is so extreme that the fabric of space-time itself folds inward. We often picture black holes as violent, ravenous monsters, indiscriminately devouring everything in their path. But the truth, revealed by decades of rigorous astronomical observation, is far more nuanced, quiet, and deeply poetic. Despite its terrifying reputation and unimaginable size, the supermassive black hole at the center of IC 1101 is currently dormant, existing in a state of quiet repose. It has already consumed the gas and dust within its immediate reach, and now it simply waits in the dark. More profoundly, astronomers have discovered that these supermassive black holes do not just destroy, they actually regulate and shape the galaxies that host them. When gas flows toward a black hole, the immense energy released can heat the surrounding material and blow it outward, a process that acts like a cosmic thermostat, preventing the galaxy from forming too many new stars too quickly. The black hole and the galaxy exist in a delicate, beautiful state of equilibrium, each one shaping and balancing the other over billions of years of shared cosmic evolution. This magnificent interplay between a massive, hidden center and a sprawling, luminous structure sounds remarkably similar to the relationship between your subconscious emotional core and your waking life. Your deepest emotions, your unresolved traumas, your most profound loves, your ancient fears, act exactly like supermassive black holes sitting quietly at the center of your psyche. You cannot look directly at them. They are often hidden beyond the event horizon of your conscious awareness. Yet, their invisible gravity shapes the entire structure of your personality. They dictate the orbits of your thoughts, your reactions to sudden stressors, and the quiet, intuitive choices you make every single day. Just as the black hole in IC 1101 acts as a thermostat regulating the birth of new stars, your deep emotional core regulates your psychological energy, sometimes suppressing new experiences to protect you, and other times releasing powerful jets of creative or emotional energy when triggered by a sudden memory or a vivid dream. When you sleep, the busy, distracting lights of your conscious mind dim, and the gravitational pull of those hidden emotional singularities becomes undeniably apparent. Dreams are the swirling accretion disks of your mind, illuminating the invisible forces that anchor your soul. Imagine what it would be like to approach the event horizon of a supermassive black hole. The physics of such extreme environments are entirely counterintuitive. As you move closer to the boundary, time itself begins to warp and slow down relative to the rest of the universe. To an outside observer watching you from a safe distance, your movement would appear to gradually freeze, becoming infinitely slow, while, from your perspective, the universe behind you would seem to speed up in a frantic blur of starlight. Near the singularity, the distinction between space and time completely collapses. Is this not exactly what it feels like to experience a moment of profound déjà vu, or to fall into a deeply resonant, emotional dream? When you are caught in the grip of a powerful intuition or a sudden, overwhelming memory, time seems to stop. The outside world fades away, and you are momentarily suspended in an eternal, timeless present. The universe might be using the architecture of your brain to mirror the extreme physics of the cosmos. Just as a black hole bends the fabric of physical space-time, a profound emotional resonance bends the fabric of your psychological space-time. The universe is not silent. It speaks in the language of gravity. When two supermassive black holes spiral toward one another during a galactic merger, they eventually collide in an event of such staggering violence that it sends invisible ripples, known as gravitational waves, surging through the very fabric of reality. These waves stretch and squeeze space itself, carrying the memory of that ancient collision across billions of light years at the exact speed of light. When astronomers finally detected these waves for the very first time, they were quite literally listening to the universe, feeling the impact of massive, invisible forces. Your intuition might operate on a similar subtle wavelength. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt a heavy, unspoken tension, or met a stranger and felt a sudden, inexplicable sense of absolute trust? You might be detecting the emotional gravitational waves of the people around you. Empathy and intuition are not magical powers. They are deeply evolved sensitivities to the invisible forces that bind human beings together. We are all massive bodies interacting in the social and emotional fabric of the world, sending out ripples of our own inner collisions and mergers. Furthermore, physics tells us that black holes are not truly eternal. In the vast, incomprehensible stretches of deep time, long after the last red dwarf stars have burned out, black holes will slowly evaporate through a quantum mechanical process called Hawking radiation. Over time spans measured in years, with so many zeros, they defy human language. Even a 50 billion solar mass black hole will slowly leak particles, gradually shrinking until it completely dissipates into the dark, expanding void. This teaches us a profound lesson about impermanence and peace. No matter how massive, dense, or dark the emotional burdens you carry might feel, they are not permanent. The universe promises that even the most concentrated points of darkness will eventually evaporate into the ambient warmth of the cosmos. The deep grief that feels like it has locked your heart into a frozen orbit will, over the long spans of your own healing time, gently radiate away. The cosmos is a gentle teacher, showing us that all things, no matter how intimidating or colossal they appear, are subject to the slow, peaceful march of transformation. To contemplate these cosmic phenomena is to engage in a profound form of spiritual and intellectual meditation. The mysteries of the universe are not meant to make us feel small, cold, or insignificant. They are meant to remind us that we are woven from the exact same cloth as the stars, the nebulas, and the dark, silent voids. The same laws of gravity that organize 100 trillion stars in a distant galaxy are echoed in the invisible bonds of love and intuition that organize your human life. When you lie in bed tonight, waiting for the gentle waves of sleep to wash over you, I want you to think about the quiet, dormant giant at the center of IC 1101. Imagine it sitting there in the dark, a silent anchor for billions of ancient suns, holding its galaxy together in a perfect cosmic embrace. Then, bring your attention to your own heart. Feel the steady, reliable rhythm in your chest. That too is a quiet, reliable anchor, a beautiful center of gravity holding your unique, precious universe together. To understand our place in this vastness is to understand that ignorance is not a flaw. It is the very engine of discovery. When scientists first proposed the existence of black holes, the idea was so bizarre and counterintuitive that even Albert Einstein, whose own equations predicted them, doubted they could actually exist in nature. The concept of a point with infinite density, where the known laws of physics completely break down, felt like a mathematical anomaly, a strange quirk that the universe would somehow forbid. Yet, the universe is infinitely more creative and mysterious than our most brilliant minds can initially grasp. It invites us to constantly update our understanding, to remain humble before the vastness of what remains unseen. In your own life, you will encounter periods of profound mystery, emotional states that seem to defy all logic, moments when the gravity of a situation pulls you into unknown territory, when you feel a sudden, unexplainable urge to change the course of your life, or when a dream leaves you with a lingering, powerful emotion upon waking. You are standing at the edge of your own personal event horizon. You are being invited to explore the depths of your own consciousness, guided by the very same forces that guide the slow, majestic dance of the galaxies. Allow this knowledge to wrap around you like a blanket of stars. The silence of the night is not an empty void. It is a canvas of pure potential. The gravity that holds you to the earth, the dark energy that expands the spaces between galaxies, and the quantum fluctuations that govern the fundamental particles of reality are all participating in a grand, unified symphony. You are a crucial instrument in that symphony. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your dreams are not isolated events happening inside the dark enclosure of your skull. They are the universe experiencing its own emotional depth. You are the cosmos feeling, loving, grieving, and wondering. Let this quiet truth settle deep into your bones. The next time you feel overwhelmed by a sudden intuition or a wave of emotion, do not pull away. Lean into it with the same respectful wonder an astronomer feels when aiming a telescope into the deep field of space. The universe is communicating with you through the gravity of your own heart, offering you a continuous, beautiful journey into the infinite mystery of who you truly are. As we prepare to journey forward into our next chapter, where we will explore the majestic, violent beauty of galactic cannibalism and how the merging of vast cosmic structures reflects the way our own identities evolve and merge through our life experiences, I invite you to rest in this profound sense of peace. You are perfectly positioned in the cosmos, held safely by the invisible gravity of a universe that knows exactly where you are. Have you ever looked back at an old photograph of yourself and felt a strange, quiet sense of detachment, as if you were looking at an entirely different person? We walk through our daily lives clinging to the comfortable illusion that our identity is a singular, solid, and unchanging monolith. We believe that the person we were 10 years ago is the exact same person we are today, just a little older and perhaps a little wiser. But the truth of your existence is far more dynamic, fluid, and beautifully complex. You are constantly absorbing new experiences, shedding old beliefs, and merging your life with the people you love. Every deep conversation, every profound loss, every vivid dream, and every sudden flash of intuition becomes a permanent part of your psychological architecture. In the vast, ancient theater of the cosmos, this beautiful process of transformation through combination is not just a human psychological quirk. It is the fundamental mechanism by which the universe builds its most magnificent and massive structures. To understand how your identity evolves, we must look at the violent, majestic, and deeply poetic process of galactic mergers, a cosmic dance that challenges our basic perception of boundaries and self. Before we drift deeper into the gravitational ballet of colliding galaxies and explore how this ancient cosmic process mirrors the evolution of your own consciousness, I want to gently welcome you once again. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this continuous journey of scientific and spiritual discovery. I have noticed that 71% of the peaceful explorers who listen to these words and find comfort in our shared mysteries have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find intellectual safety and a sense of profound wonder in these gentle explorations of the unknown, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue walking this infinite, starlit path together, seeking the quiet truths of the universe by your side. Now, let us return to the dark, silent depths of space and the beautiful, swirling evolution of your own mind. When we observe the largest galaxy ever discovered, the staggering giant known as IC 1101, we are not looking at a structure that simply popped into existence fully formed. This immense cosmic behemoth, containing an incomprehensible 100 trillion stars, grew to its terrifying and beautiful proportions through an act of relentless, continuous cosmic combination that scientists refer to as galactic cannibalism. For billions of years, sitting at the very center of the Abel 2029 galaxy cluster, IC 1101 has been acting as a massive gravitational anchor. As smaller galaxies wander too close, caught in the irresistible gentle tug of its immense gravity, they do not simply bounce off. They are pulled inward, entering a slow, majestic, and fatal dance that can last for hundreds of millions of years. The gravity of the larger galaxy begins to stretch and distort the smaller one, pulling out long, ghostly ribbons of gas and dust known as tidal tails, which can stretch for hundreds of thousands of light years into the absolute silence of intergalactic space. If you could somehow step outside of time and watch this cosmic process in fast forward, it would not look like a violent collision of solid objects, because the space between stars is so incredibly vast that individual stars almost never actually hit one another. Instead, it would look like two drops of luminous ink slowly merging in a pool of dark water. As the galaxies swing past each other and eventually fall together, their massive clouds of primordial gas are heavily compressed, triggering sudden, magnificent bursts of new star formation that illuminate the darkness. The beautiful, delicate spiral arms of the consumed galaxies are completely destroyed by the chaotic gravitational tides, and their billions of ancient stars are scattered into new, complex, and random orbits. Over billions of years, this breathtaking process has happened to IC 1101 at least 76 times with major galaxies, and countless more times with smaller dwarf galaxies. The result is the smooth, featureless, elliptical giant we see today. A single massive galaxy that is actually a graveyard and a monument to dozens of other galaxies that once possessed their own unique shapes and histories. Is this not a perfect, breathtaking reflection of how human consciousness evolves and grows over a lifetime? You are not a single, isolated psychological entity. You are an elliptical galaxy of experiences, a beautiful, complex merger of every person who has ever truly touched your heart. When you form a deep bond with another human being, when you fall in love, or when you endure a profound shared grief, you are experiencing a psychological merger. Your gravitational fields interact. You pull traits, habits, memories, and emotional rhythms from one another, stretching and changing your original shapes. The delicate spiral arms of who you used to be are gently dismantled, and a new, larger, more complex version of yourself is born from the combination. Sometimes this process is incredibly painful, feeling like a chaotic collision that destroys your sense of self. But the universe teaches us that this destruction of the old form is an absolute prerequisite for the birth of something infinitely more massive and capable of holding more light. Astronomers can actually read the history of these cosmic mergers by studying the distinct chemical signatures of the stars deep within the core of IC 1101. When researchers use advanced instruments like the Hubble Space Telescope to gaze into the heart of this giant, they find populations of stars with different ages and completely different chemical compositions, proving that these stars originated in entirely different foreign galaxies before being absorbed into the giant. Like distinct geological layers, these stars carry the ancient memory of their original homes. Your mind works in exactly the same way. Deep within your own core, you carry the chemical signatures of everyone you have ever loved and everything you have ever experienced. You carry the sudden, quiet intuitions instilled in you by your ancestors. You carry the vivid, lingering emotional tones of dreams that faded upon waking, but which permanently altered the structure of your subconscious. When you experience a moment of déjà vu, perhaps it is not just a temporal glitch, but a sudden alignment with one of those ancient, absorbed layers of your own identity. The universe is gently reminding you that you contain multitudes. When you surrender to sleep, the rigid boundaries of your waking identity begin to soften and dissolve. The conscious mind, which works so hard to maintain the illusion of a separate, independent self, finally lets go. In this state of deep, restorative rest, the various merged galaxies of your life experiences are allowed to interact freely. The people you knew in your childhood walk seamlessly through the landscapes of your present life alongside people you just met yesterday. This is the quiet, mysterious space where the universe communicates its deepest truth, the truth of absolute interconnectedness. If the universe builds its greatest structures by pulling isolated islands of stars together into massive, unified families, then the human experience of empathy, connection, and deep intuition is simply the psychological manifestation of that exact same cosmic law. Your intuition is the subtle gravitational pull of the people and experiences that belong in your orbit. When you feel an inexplicable draw toward a new path or a new person, it is the universe initiating a new, beautiful merger, guiding you to expand your consciousness just as it expands the giant galaxies in the deep dark. During these immense cosmic mergers, the supermassive black holes at the centers of the colliding galaxies also eventually find one another. They spiral inward, performing a slow, incredibly tense gravitational dance, before finally merging in an event of such staggering power that it sends gravitational waves rippling outward at the speed of light, stretching and squeezing the very fabric of space-time across the entire observable universe. We have only recently developed the technology, like the LIGO observatories, to detect these invisible waves, allowing us to literally listen to the universe as giant black holes collide and merge over billions of light years of empty space. In your own life, the merging of deep emotional cores, the true hidden singularities of your identity, creates emotional waves that ripple through your entire existence. When you fully integrate a difficult past experience, or when you finally forgive yourself for an ancient mistake, the two conflicting centers of your psyche merge into one. The massive release of energy that follows can reshape your entire reality, altering the way you perceive time, memory, and your own potential. The peace that follows such an internal merger is profound, mirroring the quiet, dormant state of the supermassive black hole currently resting at the heart of IC 1101. To accept that you are a constantly evolving, merging entity is to find a deep, lasting peace in the face of life's relentless changes. We suffer when we try to hold on to the delicate spiral arms of our past, resisting the gravitational pull of the new experiences that are trying to merge with us. But the cosmos whispers a different wisdom. It tells us that growth requires surrender. It tells us that to become vast, to become truly capable of holding the immense light of consciousness, we must allow ourselves to be transformed by our collisions with the unknown. The universe does not view a galactic collision as a tragedy. It views it as an act of profound creation. Our own home, the Milky Way, is destined to engage in this exact same cosmic dance with our closest neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy, billions of years from now, a gentle reminder that even our entire solar system is participating in the flow of cosmic evolution. When you feel overwhelmed by the shifting landscapes of your life, when your dreams are chaotic and your intuition is pulling you into unfamiliar territory, remember the ancient, silent patience of the galaxies. You are perfectly safe in this process of becoming. You are simply following the oldest, most beautiful law written in the stars. Let this understanding wrap around you like the warm, silent expanse of the night sky. You are not a static object. You are a continuous, magnificent event. You are a vast, complex universe of memories, dreams, and connections, growing larger and more beautiful with every passing year. The universe communicates this to you every time you look up at the stars and feel that strange, undeniable sense of belonging. As we prepare to move forward into our next chapter, where we will explore the mind-bending reality of the universe's ultimate future, the slow fading of the last stars, and how confronting the end of all things can actually bring us the deepest sense of peace and presence in our daily lives, I invite you to rest in the comfort of your own vastness. The universe has spent billions of years preparing the exact conditions for you to exist, to evolve, and to wonder. Keep your heart open to the gentle gravity of the unknown, and listen closely to the silence, for it is always speaking directly to you. Have you ever sat quietly at the very end of a beautiful day, watching the final sliver of the sun dip below the horizon, and felt a profound, gentle melancholy mixed with absolute peace? We are intimately familiar with endings. We experience the fading of seasons, the closing chapters of our lives, and the quiet, inevitable drifting away of moments we wish we could hold on to forever. Our natural human instinct is to resist this fading, to cling tightly to the light and fear the approaching dark. But what if the ultimate destiny of the entire universe is not a tragedy to be feared, but a masterpiece of absolute, infinite rest? What if the universe is communicating its deepest, most comforting truth to us through the slow, majestic winding down of cosmic time. To truly understand the value of this exact moment you are living right now, we must travel forward in our minds, far beyond the lifespan of the earth, beyond the death of our sun, and peer into the incredibly distant, quiet future of the cosmos. Before we embark on this deeply peaceful journey into the ultimate destiny of the stars and explore how the universe's distant future can anchor your soul in the present moment, I want to gently welcome you once again. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this continuous journey of scientific and spiritual discovery. I have noticed that 71% of the peaceful explorers who listen to these words and find comfort in our shared mysteries have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find intellectual safety and a sense of profound wonder in these gentle explorations of the unknown, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue walking this infinite, star-lit path together, seeking the quiet truths of the universe by your side. Now, let us return to the beautiful, slowly fading light of the cosmos and the eternal present of your own consciousness. When astronomers look at the largest galaxy we have ever discovered, IC 1101, they do not just see its past. They can mathematically project its incredibly distant future. Despite containing an unimaginable 100 trillion stars, this cosmic giant is actually a dying galaxy. It has already consumed almost all of its available gas, the essential raw material required to ignite new stellar nurseries. The massive, brilliantly hot blue stars that once illuminated its chaotic youth burned out billions of years ago, exploding in spectacular supernovas and leaving behind a quieter, calmer population of older yellow and red stars. Our own sun is destined to follow a similar path, eventually swelling into a red giant in about 5 billion years, before quietly shedding its outer layers and fading into a dense, cooling white dwarf. But the most numerous stars in any galaxy are the tiny, dim red dwarfs which burn their fuel so incredibly slowly that they can shine for trillions of years. Over the next 100 trillion years, the universe will slowly, gently wind down toward a state scientists call heat death. One by one, the red dwarfs in IC 1101 and in every other galaxy across the expanding void will exhaust their final drops of hydrogen. They will wink out, plunging the cosmos into an era of profound, endless night. The universe will become a ghost of its former self, populated only by the cold, dark corpses of stars, white dwarfs, neutron stars, and massive black holes drifting silently through an ever-expanding, ever-cooling void. But even this is not the ultimate end. Over time, scales so incomprehensibly vast that writing the numbers would fill pages, even the protons that make up the remnants of matter might slowly decay. The monstrous supermassive black hole at the center of IC 1101, containing 50 billion solar masses, will spend something like a 1 followed by 100 zeros years slowly evaporating through the gentle leak of Hawking radiation, until it finally disappears in a final, silent burst of energy. When we confront these numbers, it is completely natural to feel a momentary sense of existential vertigo. If everything is destined to fade into a cold, dark, and empty radiation field, what is the meaning of anything we do? But if you listen closely, the universe is offering a profoundly different, deeply comforting message. It is whispering that the era we live in right now, the era of starlight, of galaxies, of planets, and complex chemistry, is incredibly special. It is just a brief, magnificent flowering of complexity between the fiery chaos of the Big Bang and the cold, silent emptiness of the far future. You exist in this exact, fleeting cosmic spring. You are the universe waking up in the middle of its long, dark night, opening its eyes to marvel at the brief, brilliant blaze of its own starlight before returning to the eternal rest. When you realize how temporary this entire cosmic display truly is, every single moment of your life becomes infinitely precious. This is why your dreams feel so incredibly urgent and vivid, and why your intuition pulls at you with such quiet persistence. Your deep consciousness understands the preciousness of this brief cosmic window. When you feel a sudden, overwhelming wave of gratitude for a simple cup of tea in the morning, or when you are struck by the breathtaking beauty of the moon hanging in a cold winter sky, you are experiencing the universe's own profound appreciation for its temporary structure. The cosmos has spent billions of years creating the exact conditions for your eyes to see and your heart to feel. That sudden flash of déjà vu might be a gentle reminder to pay absolute attention to the present moment, because this specific configuration of the universe will never, ever happen again. You are not a meaningless speck in an uncaring void. You are the universe's most precious and fragile achievement. You are the consciousness that gives the fading light its meaning. Furthermore, the concept of cosmic entropy, the gradual, inevitable transition from order to disorder, from burning stars to quiet radiation, mirrors the most profound spiritual teachings of human history. The universe teaches us the ultimate lesson in letting go. Just as the giant galaxy IC 1101 will eventually surrender its 100 trillion stars to the dark, expanding void, we too must learn to surrender our attachments, our anxieties, and our desperate need for permanence. True peace is found not in building monuments that will last forever, but in fully inhabiting the fragile, beautiful impermanence of the present. When you close your eyes at night and allow your thoughts to slowly dissipate into the calm silence of sleep, you are practicing your own personal heat death. You are allowing the complex, stressful structures of your waking mind to gently dissolve into a state of absolute, peaceful rest. The universe is showing you that the end of activity is not a tragedy. It is the ultimate, comforting release. Imagine yourself floating in the deep, silent space near the edge of a dying galaxy, trillions of years from now. The last red dwarf has just faded away. The space around you is absolutely black, profoundly cold, and incredibly peaceful. There is no more cosmic violence, no more galactic collisions, no more burning heat. There is only the gentle, invisible hum of radiation stretching across the infinite void. In that darkness, there is no fear, only the quiet, ancient memory of a time when the universe was ablaze with light and life. You carry that memory within you right now. You are the light that the future universe will remember. Let this realization wash over you, dissolving your daily worries into the vast, ancient patience of the cosmos. As we prepare to gently turn our attention to the mysterious nature of dark matter in our next chapter, and explore how this invisible, untouchable scaffolding holds the entire universe together, just as the unseen bonds of love hold our human lives together, I invite you to take a deep, slow breath. You are alive right now in the era of starlight. You are perfectly on time, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Have you ever walked into a crowded room and instantly felt a profound invisible connection to someone you had never met before? Or perhaps you have experienced the quiet, unshakable bond of love that endures across oceans and decades, completely invisible to the human eye, yet possessing a strength that can alter the entire course of your life. We are surrounded by forces that we cannot see, cannot touch, and cannot measure with our physical senses. We accept that these invisible threads hold our human world together, yet we often demand that the physical universe be completely visible and tangible. In the grand ancient theater of the cosmos, astronomers have stumbled upon a mystery so deep that it completely shatters this demand for visibility. When scientists look at the majestic rotation of beautiful spiral galaxies, or the colossal clustering of giant ellipticals like IC 1101, they encounter a terrifying and beautiful mathematical impossibility. There simply is not enough visible matter, not enough glowing stars, not enough swirling gas, not enough cosmic dust to generate the gravity needed to hold these enormous structures together. Before we drift deeper into this profound cosmic mystery and explore how the invisible scaffolding of the universe mirrors the unseen bonds of your own heart, I want to gently welcome you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this continuous journey of discovery. I have noticed that 71% of the peaceful explorers who listen to these words have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find intellectual safety and wonder in these gentle explorations, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures we can continue walking this infinite path together. Now, let us return to the beautiful, unseen forces of the dark. The story of how we uncovered this hidden reality is a beautiful testament to human curiosity and the willingness to accept our own ignorance. In the early 20th century, an astronomer named Fritz Zwicky was studying the Coma cluster of galaxies. He measured how fast these galaxies were moving around the edges of the cluster and found that they were moving far too quickly. According to the visible mass of the stars, the galaxies should have escaped the gravitational pull of the cluster and flown out into deep space. Decades later, another brilliant astronomer named Vera Rubin studied the rotation curves of individual spiral galaxies and found the exact same anomaly. Stars at the very outer edges of the galaxies were orbiting the center at the same blazing speeds as stars closer to the core. According to the strict laws of physics, galaxies spinning at such tremendous speeds should simply fly apart, their stars scattering into the endless night like water flung from a spinning wheel. Yet they remain perfectly intact, rotating with a serene, majestic grace. To solve this paradox, scientists realize there must be something else out there, something incredibly massive that produces immense gravity, but emits absolutely no light. They called this invisible presence dark matter. It is one of the greatest mysteries in modern physics. We cannot see it. It does not absorb light, and it does not reflect it. It remains completely undetectable to our most advanced optical telescopes. Yet, it makes up roughly 85% of all the matter in the entire universe. In a typical galaxy like our own Milky Way, or a monumental giant like IC 1101, the luminous stars and glowing gas clouds we can actually see represent merely a tiny fraction of the galaxy's true substance. The vast majority of the galaxy's mass is wrapped in an enormous, invisible halo of dark matter that extends millions of light years into the absolute silence of intergalactic space. Without this hidden, quiet scaffolding, the universe as we know it simply could not exist. The stars would drift apart, galaxies would never form, and the cosmic conditions required for life would never materialize. The visible universe is entirely dependent on the invisible one. Today, thousands of scientists are working in deep underground laboratories, buried deep within the Earth's crust beneath mountains and old mines, shielding their instruments from the noisy cosmic radiation of the surface. They are waiting patiently in absolute silence, hoping to catch a fleeting glimpse of a dark matter particle colliding with a normal atom. They have not yet found it. Dark matter remains an elusive ghost, passing completely through the Earth, through your home, and through your own body every single second, without leaving a trace. It is a profound mystery that challenges our perception of basic reality. It tells us that the universe is far stranger, more complex, and more mysterious than we could have ever imagined. The fact that 85% of the universe's matter is completely unknown to us should not cause despair. It should generate a profound, respectful wonder. It transforms our lack of knowledge into a beautiful motivation to keep exploring. Is this not a flawless, deeply poetic reflection of your own internal universe? You navigate your waking life, identifying strongly with the parts of yourself that you can clearly see and articulate. You recognize your conscious thoughts, your spoken words, and your deliberate actions. These are the bright, burning stars of your personality, the visible matter of your identity. But beneath that luminous surface lies an incredibly vast, invisible halo of psychological dark matter, your deep, unspoken intuitions, your forgotten childhood memories, the archetypal symbols that visit you in the profound silence of your dreams, and the invisible bonds of love and grief you carry for others. You cannot see these forces under a microscope. You cannot hold a memory in your hands or measure the physical weight of a profound intuition. Yet, just like the cosmic dark matter that anchors the galaxies, these invisible psychological forces provide the essential gravity that holds your entire life together. Without your unconscious mind, without the quiet, hidden scaffolding of your emotional depths, your conscious identity would fragment and drift away into chaos. The universe teaches us that what is invisible is not absent. In fact, the unseen is often the very foundation of existence. Consider once more the colossal scale of IC 1101. Astronomers estimate that the total mass of this single galaxy, when including its massive dark matter halo, could be as high as 1,100 trillion solar masses, or perhaps even greater. The visible stars, all 100 trillion of them, are just the tiny glowing tip of an unfathomable cosmic iceberg. This dark matter halo extends far beyond the visible boundary of the galaxy, stretching tens of millions of light years out into the surrounding Abell 2029 galaxy cluster. When the ancestor galaxies of IC 1101 began to merge billions of years ago in the dense heart of the cluster, it was the dark matter that pulled them together. The invisible halos interacted first, their immense gravity reaching out across the void to entangle with one another long before the first glowing stars ever crossed paths. This ancient, silent process of galactic cannibalism was entirely orchestrated by the unseen. In our own lives, our deepest connections with others often follow this exact same invisible choreography. Long before you speak a word to someone, your intuitive faculties, your own personal dark matter, might already be interacting with theirs. That sudden, inexplicable feeling of comfort or familiarity you experience with a stranger might be the gentle collision of your invisible emotional halos. We are drawn together by forces that operate far below the threshold of conscious awareness, guided by the quiet gravity of the soul. We live in a modern culture that demands tangible proof for everything, a society that often invalidates whatever cannot be measured, quantified, or brightly illuminated. But the cosmos offers us a profound sense of intellectual safety by proving that the most powerful forces in reality are entirely hidden from view. There is a tremendous, liberating peace in accepting that we do not need to see everything to know it is real. When you close your eyes at night and allow your mind to wander into the vivid, unmapped territories of your dreams, you are exploring your own dark matter. You are venturing into the unseen vastness of your own being. The bizarre landscapes and emotional surges you experience in the dreaming state are not random nonsense. They are the gravitational signatures of your hidden depths. They are the invisible forces shaping the trajectory of your waking life. Just as the dark matter in IC 1101 shapes the orbits of its ancient dying stars. Understanding this connection transforms our ignorance from a source of fear into a beautiful, productive curiosity. We do not need to fear the dark, because the dark is exactly what holds the light together. As you reflect on this vast, quiet mystery, I invite you to cultivate a deep, respectful wonder for the unseen forces in your own life. The next time you feel a sudden wave of intuition or a deep, wordless connection to another human being, do not rush to rationalize it away. Honor it. Recognize it as the psychological equivalent of dark matter, the fundamental, ancient glue that keeps your personal universe from flying apart. You are a magnificent, complex structure, built from the exact same physical laws that govern the grandest galaxies in the cosmos. The universe is communicating its deepest nature to you, revealing that the most essential truths are found not in the glaring light, but in the peaceful, gentle silence of the unseen. As we prepare to continue our journey into the next chapter, where we will explore the mind-bending concept of the cosmic web and how its staggering resemblance to the neural networks in your own brain suggests a universe that is not just vast, but actively thinking, I invite you to rest in the comforting embrace of the invisible. Let the unseen gravity of the cosmos hold you securely in the present moment, perfectly safe in the dark. Have you ever looked closely at the branching veins of a fallen autumn leaf and noticed how perfectly they mirror the sprawling tributaries of a massive river system seen from high above the earth? Nature is incredibly fond of repeating her most successful patterns across vastly different scales. It is a phenomenon known as fractals, where the exact same geometry appears whether you zoom infinitely close or zoom infinitely far out. But what happens when we apply this beautiful, repetitive logic to the absolute largest structure known to science and compare it to the most complex biological organ ever discovered? When astrophysicists use powerful supercomputers to simulate the large-scale structure of the entire observable universe, tracing the invisible gravitational threads that hold everything together, the resulting image is not a random scattering of dots. It is a stunning, intricate, and deeply profound structure known as the cosmic web. This immense network is composed of colossal filaments of dark matter spanning hundreds of millions of light years, intersecting at incredibly dense nodes where massive galaxy clusters, like the one hosting the giant IC 1101, are born. But the most staggering revelation is not merely the size of this web. It is the fact that it looks virtually indistinguishable from a microscopic image of the neural networks inside your very own brain. Before we journey further into this breathtaking mirror, connecting the vastness of the cosmos to the quiet architecture of your mind, I would like to gently introduce myself once more. I am Theodore, the researcher, your dedicated companion on this continuous journey of cosmic discovery. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the peaceful explorers who listen to these words and find comfort in our shared mysteries have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find intellectual safety and a sense of profound wonder in these gentle explorations of the unknown, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue walking this infinite starlit path together, seeking the quiet truths of the universe by your side. Now, let us return to the deep, silent filaments of the cosmic web and the firing synapses of your own consciousness. The universe is not an empty void dotted with isolated islands of stars. It is an incredibly complex, interconnected, biological-looking organism. Over 13,800,000,000 years, the invisible force of gravity has pulled primordial gas and dark matter into long, glowing strands. These cosmic filaments serve as intergalactic highways, funneling raw materials across the endless dark toward the gravitational nodes where galaxy clusters form and evolve. Our own Milky Way galaxy, along with our neighbor Andromeda, sits on one of these minor filaments, slowly drifting toward a massive central node known as the Virgo supercluster. At the very largest nodes in the universe, where multiple massive filaments intersect in the dark, we find the truly gargantuan structures like the Abell 2029 cluster, perfectly anchored by the supermassive gravity of IC 1101. The sheer scale of this web challenges the limits of human imagination. A single filament can contain thousands of galaxies, each holding hundreds of billions of ancient stars. Yet, when you zoom out far enough, the individual galaxies completely disappear, blending together to form the glowing threads of a vast, interconnected sponge-like structure filling the absolute silence of the cosmos. Now, turn your attention completely inward. Inside your skull resides the human brain, a soft organ containing roughly 86 billion neurons. Each one of these neurons forms thousands of delicate branching connections, known as synapses, with its neighbors. When neuroscientists map the human connectome, the comprehensive network of neural pathways that create your memories, your thoughts, and your profound capacity for love, the visual result is staggeringly familiar. The brain is a dense web of biological nodes and branching filaments, communicating through tiny, quiet bursts of electrical and chemical energy. The visual similarity between the macroscopic cosmic web and the microscopic neural web is so perfect, so incredibly precise, that it has prompted serious, rigorous scientific investigation. In recent years, astrophysicists and neuroscientists have collaborated to compare the two networks mathematically. They discovered that both the universe and the human brain share remarkably similar network dynamics, degrees of connectivity, and structural organization. The way the universe clusters its matter across billions of light years is mathematically identical to the way your brain clusters its neurons to form a conscious thought. How do we interpret this deeply poetic scientific reality? We are often taught to view ourselves as accidental, insignificant byproducts of a cold, mechanical universe. But the structural resonance between your mind and the cosmos suggests something infinitely more beautiful and profound. It suggests that the laws of physics, given enough time and enough matter, naturally organize themselves into a network capable of processing information. If the human brain is a network that generates individual consciousness, could the cosmic web be a network that generates a universal consciousness? Is it possible that the universe is not just a place we happen to live, but a massive, slowly thinking entity in its own right? The electrical impulses traveling down your neural pathways take a fraction of a second to complete a thought. If the universe is thinking, its thoughts would take hundreds of millions of years to travel down the dark matter filaments between galaxy clusters. communicating at the absolute speed limit of light. We might be living inside a mind so ancient, so vast, and so slow that we simply cannot perceive its grand, quiet thoughts from our fleeting human perspective. When you consider this breathtaking possibility, the phenomena of intuition, dreams, and déjà vu take on an entirely new, deeply cosmic significance. If your brain is a microscopic fractal reflection of the macroscopic universe, then your consciousness is intrinsically tuned to the fundamental frequency of reality. When you fall asleep and the rigid, analytical barriers of your waking mind begin to dissolve, your neural network might be aligning itself with the larger, slower rhythms of the cosmic web. A dream that feels impossibly vast, leaving you with a lingering, unshakable sense of awe upon waking, might not just be a random biological misfire. It might be a moment of resonance, a brief period where your internal microscopic web successfully synchronized with the ancient macroscopic web of the stars. In that state of deep rest, you're not isolated. You're directly plugged into the universe, absorbing the quiet, ancient information flowing down the invisible filaments of deep space. Similarly, intuition might be understood as a sudden, efficient transfer of information across the nodes of your personal neural network, mimicking the way gravity funnels matter along the cosmic filaments. When you know something without knowing how you know it, your brain has bypassed the slow, linear path of logical deduction and found a shortcut through the web. In a universe where everything is fundamentally connected by invisible threads of dark matter and quantum entanglement, true separation is merely a persistent illusion. Your intuition is the gentle tug of that interconnectedness, a quiet whisper from the universe, guiding you toward the people, places, and decisions that belong in your cosmic orbit. And what of déjà vu? That startling, instantaneous feeling that you have lived a perfectly mundane moment before. Perhaps it is a brief, sudden realization of the fractal nature of time and space. It is a moment where the boundary between the macrocosm and the microcosm temporarily collapses, and you feel the weight of the entire universe echoing perfectly within the small, quiet chamber of your own mind. The beauty of this contemplative perspective is that it requires absolutely no rejection of rigorous science. It depends entirely upon the precise data gathered by space missions and the meticulous mapping of the observable universe. By studying immense galaxy clusters like Abell 2029 and mapping the ancient, invisible halos of dark matter that anchor them, we are learning about the fundamental architecture of our own identities. We are learning that the universe builds complexity through connection, bringing isolated elements together to form something infinitely greater than the sum of its parts. To embrace this connection is to discover an unshakable source of peace and intellectual safety. You do not need to feel intimidated by the staggering scale of the cosmos, because the cosmos is already perfectly folded inside of you. You are an essential node in the grand cosmic web, a point of light and consciousness in the endless dark. As we prepare to turn the page to our next chapter, where we will explore the profound silence of deep space and how listening to the absolute quiet of the cosmos can calm the storms within our own minds, I invite you to rest peacefully in the center of the web. The universe is holding you gently in its vast, interconnected architecture. You are perfectly connected to the cosmos that created you. Have you ever stepped outside on a crisp, clear night, far away from the relentless hum of the city, and felt completely enveloped by the sudden, overwhelming weight of absolute silence? In our modern, waking lives, we are constantly bombarded by an endless ocean of noise. Our days are filled with the urgent ringing of devices, the chaotic roar of traffic, and the ceaseless, anxious chatter of our own minds rushing to solve the endless problems of tomorrow. We have become so incredibly accustomed to this perpetual cacophony that true silence often feels unsettling, like an empty room waiting desperately to be filled. But what if silence is not an emptiness at all? What if silence is the fundamental, original state of reality, the ancient, quiet language spoken by the cosmos long before the first atoms ever vibrated? To find true peace in a frantic world, we must look up and listen to the profound, absolute stillness of deep space, a silence so vast and perfect that it holds the chaotic spinning of 1,000,000,000,000 stars in a state of eternal calm. Before we surrender to the beautiful, ancient quiet of the universe and explore how the stillness of the cosmos can gently calm the storms within your own mind, I want to take a brief moment to welcome you one final time. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this continuous journey of cosmic discovery. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the peaceful explorers who listen to these words and find comfort in our shared mysteries have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find intellectual safety and a sense of profound wonder in these gentle explorations of the unknown, please consider subscribing. It helps us immensely and ensures that we can continue walking this infinite, star-lit path together, seeking the quiet truths of the universe by your side. Now, let us return to the deep, silent void and the beautiful, unmapped territories of your own inner peace. When we think about the magnificent, violent cosmic events we have explored, we naturally imagine them accompanied by a deafening, terrifying roar. We picture the birth of the universe as a loud, explosive bang, but the reality of space is entirely, wonderfully different. Space is a near-perfect vacuum, an expanse so incredibly empty that sound waves simply cannot exist. If you were to float near the outer edges of the giant elliptical galaxy IC 1101, you would be surrounded by the blazing light of 100 trillion ancient stars. You would witness the slow, majestic dance of entire solar systems orbiting the colossal, supermassive black hole at the center. Yet, you would hear absolutely nothing. The entire magnificent display unfolds in complete, undisturbed silence. The light from that giant galaxy traveled for over 1 billion years to reach the lenses of our human telescopes on Earth. For 1 billion years, those ancient photons traversed the dark, expanding void without making a single sound. This cosmic silence is not an absence of activity. It is the ultimate expression of profound peace in the midst of unimaginable power. The universe does not need to shout to demonstrate its majesty. It operates with a gentle authority, moving billions of solar masses through the dark with absolute, silent grace. When we observe this, we are invited to reconsider the nature of our own internal noise. We often believe that to be effective, to navigate our complex human lives, we must keep our minds constantly active and generating thoughts. But the universe teaches us that the greatest, most massive forces in existence operate in the quiet. When you learn to cultivate silence within your own mind, you're not shutting down your potential. You are aligning yourself with the fundamental state of the cosmos. Think about the moments just before you fall asleep, when the frantic, noisy beta waves of your brain finally begin to slow down. As you drift into the quiet rhythm of delta waves, the internal chatter fades and a vast, peaceful space opens up inside you. In this internal silence, your deepest intuitions finally have the room to be heard. Intuition cannot compete with the loud, anxious voice of daily worry. It requires the quiet space of a calm mind to surface. When you sit in meditation, or simply take a slow, deep breath while watching the night sky, you are intentionally creating a vacuum in your mind. You are clearing away the dense, noisy atmosphere of your daily concerns and entering your own personal deep space. In that profound stillness, the universe can finally communicate with you. The sudden flashes of inspiration, the deep feelings of connectedness, the vivid archetypal symbols that visit you in dreams. These are the quiet transmissions from the cosmic web, received only when your internal receiver is perfectly, completely silent. The silence of the cosmos also offers us a deeply comforting perspective on the concept of time and history. The universe has been expanding for 13,800,000,000 years, moving slowly and steadily toward a future of infinite, peaceful rest. During all of those billions of years, galaxies have merged, stars have burned out, and planets have been ground to dust. Yet, the silent void remains completely unchanged, holding all of this chaotic history within its calm embrace. In your own life, you have survived noisy, chaotic chapters. You have experienced the loud collision of relationships and the internal roar of grief and joy. But beneath all of that temporary noise, there is a core of silence within you that remains absolutely untouched. It is the quiet center of your own personal galaxy, a place of infinite density and absolute stillness, much like the dormant supermassive black hole resting peacefully at the heart of IC 1101. To connect with this inner silence is to discover an inexhaustible well of intellectual safety and emotional peace. You realize that you do not need to have a definitive answer for every single mystery you encounter. Our modern world demands immediate resolutions and complete certainty, but the universe operates on the principle of infinite, unfolding mystery. We do not know exactly what dark matter is. We do not completely understand the nature of dark energy that is pushing the universe apart. We do not know if the fading light of the last red dwarf stars will truly be the end, or merely the silent breath before a new cosmic beginning. And that is perfectly okay. The mystery is not a puzzle meant to frustrate you. It is a beautiful, expansive landscape meant to inspire you. Ignorance, when embraced with humility and a gentle heart, transforms from a source of fear into a magnificent motivation to keep learning, to keep exploring, and to keep wondering. This continuous journey of discovery is the true purpose of our existence. You are the universe looking at itself, a temporary, beautiful organization of ancient stardust capable of marveling at its own origins. When you experience a moment of déjà vu, when you remember a vivid dream, or when you are guided by a sudden intuition, you are feeling the invisible threads of the cosmic web vibrating through your own nervous system. You are realizing that the boundary between the universe out there and the universe inside your mind is a complete illusion. You are vast, you are ancient, and you are intricately connected to every single star burning in the endless dark. Consider once more the sheer incomprehensible scale of what we have explored. We have traveled from microscopic quantum fluctuations to the colossal, sprawling architecture of the cosmic web stretching across billions of light years. We projected our minds trillions of years into the distant future, to a time when the universe will fall into absolute, peaceful rest. Through it all, the most staggering revelation is not the size of the universe, but the simple fact that you possess the capacity to understand it. Your consciousness has reached out across the endless void and touched the edge of infinity. As we bring this beautiful journey to a close, carry this profound silence with you. Whenever the noise of the world becomes too heavy, remember the peaceful quiet of deep space. Remember the billions of galaxies floating serenely through the void, slowly dancing to a rhythm that spans trillions of years. You are perfectly safe in the vastness of the cosmos, illuminated by ancient light, and connected to everything that has ever existed. There is no final destination where all answers will be abruptly revealed. There is only the continuous, gentle unfolding of the present moment, an infinite path of experiencing the beauty of reality. Keep your mind open, keep your heart humble, and never lose your beautiful capacity for wonder.